Alright, so this is my screencast attempt at this project. Let's go ahead and get started. Alrighty, so as you can see, this is me going between the assignment and what needs to be done. The first thing is, of course, adding the name to the sheet. Okay, so we've already opened up the template. I'm going to go ahead and right click on the sheet name, then go ahead and rename this. And I'm changing it on over to the assigned name. Of course, now as back, I am then going to go ahead and give this a header. Okay, by giving it a header, I am able to correctly designate this as what it needs to be. Okay, so it's Mountain Union, and then I hit that button so I can go ahead and assign it the correct sheet name instead of just typing it in. Okay, so the next step, as you can see, is okay, we're gonna go ahead and add a new page. Okay, and in doing so, we're gonna go ahead and look at the performance indicators and paste those in properly into a new page. This is intended to go ahead and look between the two sheets within the Excel document to really where those students are landing. Alright, so the next part that we need to do, excuse the dialog box here, we're going to go ahead and use the Excel calculations to do averages between the students. So we're going to go ahead and head back to the original document, and as Dr. Edgehouse has provided, we're going to go ahead and make averages out of the provided, excuse me here, I got to go back to normal layout, an average out of each year that's provided here for us. So if we're taking a look, I'm going to go ahead and use the assessments button to go back and forth and really use those equations. And Excel has a nice way of letting us create averages. Okay. So we have the average for the first year, second year, and so on. Okay. Okay, and so the next part is to go ahead and make sure that we are focusing on these particular averages and changing the decimal points to where they need to be. Dr. Edgehouse instructed that we put these decimal points to the nearest tenth to kind of show a little bit further growth per year. As you see, I can go ahead and update that quickly. Okay. Let's take a look. Alrighty, so this part kind of takes a little bit of time. What we're going to do is add that line graph, the spark. I think it's called spark line, and we're going to do that using Excel 2010. And this is particularly helpful as it shows within the cell itself a just a real, I guess, minuscule version of what you would do otherwise while graphing, which, as we know, takes up a lot of space. There's a lot of associated time with that, where you're having to calculate data and everything like that. So while this does take a little bit of time, it's important to note how the students show growth. And as you can see, as we're going through, you can see as the students are progressing. They're either growing throughout the years, increasing, and or not increasing. And what's really important from here is that once this is finished up in a few minutes, we're going to be able to really get an idea as to where the students are and how they are perceiving their learning, and if they're actually gaining something. That's really the most important part. Various students are either doing well or they're not doing well. And there might be an easier way to do this. I found this is a little bit daunting, I suppose. The quickest way that I found to really, I guess, approach this would be to highlight the rows as I am going about, and then going to the line to create that spark. And what I was doing for a good time here was actually physically typing in the corresponding row line, because it asks where you want it to go. And I found while I was going through this that the real, I guess, more beneficial approach would be to highlight this and then go ahead and click in the corresponding row. So as you can see, it goes a little bit quicker, and then I can get us all along our way a bit more. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and let this finish up, and I will be speaking in just a few minutes regarding this process. For those wondering why I'm not speaking and going through this, I actually use a software called Camtasia to record this as I was at work. And since I couldn't talk because I work at a library at night, what I did was I actually pre-recorded it, and now I'm using the narration over this. So it's kind of using a new software, which is kind of interesting, I suppose, but would really help with the process. Okay, so we're coming down to the end here. I believe I go through this again, and I go for the average, and I notice a trend too with these. So as you can see, the mean really kind of rises and then falls a little bit toward the end, with the days, the scores really going up in like mid-year, not 2011, more so like 2009. So Dr. Edgehouse calls for us to now go ahead and sort, and I had a little bit of trouble. I thought I was more familiar with the ribbon, but I wasn't. So I clicked the sort button, and it gets a little bit confusing, and I click around trying to figure out what to do. And it's asking me, do I want to rearrange this? I click OK just to kind of experiment, and then kind of looks ridiculous. I'm like, oh, it's not really what I want. Though interesting, it's not the way I'm gonna. So I experimented a little bit here, trying to figure out where I'm going and where I'm heading with this. And I look, I'm like, you know what? This is not really gonna help me very much. And finally, I managed to go ahead and sort it the way I want. But then I'm like, okay. I've got everything sorted, and it looks really messy because I've actually sorted the averages too. So the next step, I decided to go ahead and keep it, but the next step calls for us to go ahead and highlight or emphasize in green, and like the most noticeable trends. And I decided to go back and forth and really identify where I saw obvious growth and obvious drops as well. And here's a dialog box again. I'm going to go ahead and close that. I'm going to use this handy tool as Excel notices you can identify either good or bad. You can see the growth pattern in that particular student as it kind of slowly declines and then increases, which tells me that teacher was particularly good, or they've tried harder on those tests. What I found most interesting were that a few of these students who were identified as gifted actually declined quite heavily in the standardized testing, which makes me think a little bit, what is the means of preparation? And is standardized testing as a whole really appealing to that overall learner? Is this really helping them or not? And I thought that was a very interesting thing as well. And I went ahead and paused here just for a few minutes as well to kind of go back and forth and really identify the various trends that I noticed. And I went ahead and kept the timer up. I decided to keep it up for, I think, about a minute or so, just to kind of time myself. So I guess, past me was really looking out for future me, which is kind of silly. But, I kind of went along with this with the idea that, maybe the standardized testing does not actually work or work consistently well for all learners, and that's something that we really need to evaluate as well. And I think that's really the whole goal of this project, is to go ahead and synthesize as well the types of learning, and really think it was beneficial. So that's it. Thanks for watching.